Hi. Welcome to Everyday Movie Recap. For today's movie, we will recap the movie Avatar: The Way of Water from the year 2022. For 16 years, Pandora has been a world of peace where the Na'vi lived. The Sky People and the one they trusted will one day upset this tranquility. Jake Sully, the leader of the Metkayina Clan, and his wife Neytiri raised 4 children, their sons Nadium and Lowak, their adopted daughter Kiri, born from Grace Augustine's Avatar, and their daughter Tuk. The human race was expelled from this planet 16 years ago. But the loyal people chose to stay on Pandora. Spider is the human son of the late Colonel Miles Quaritch, who was born on Pandora and raised by the scientists who stayed there. Spider frequently pays Jake and Neytiri's children a visit and plays with them. Neytiri still doesn't want Spider to be part of the family. She always reminds Jake that Spider is still one of the humans, an alien to them. One night, while Jake and Neytiri were lying on the ground looking at the sky, they found a new star. But they are not stars, they are ships, which means the Sky People came back from Earth and planned to take over Pandora again for their own sake. Quaritch had a project to transfer all of his memories into an Avatar clone to continue his mission to kill Jake. During the preparations of the RDA, the Resources Development Administration, Jake and his warriors raided each headquarters, hideouts, and even the transportation of their opponents' weapons, and because of the stubbornness of his son Lowak, he almost lost one of his sons, Nadium. Out of curiosity, even though his father grounded him, Lowak insisted on going to the battlefield with his 2 sisters and Spider, which caused them to be captured by the enemy. And Quaritch reunited with his son, Spider. Jake and Neytiri exchanged arrows with the enemy's bullets, and they rescued their children. Spider collapsed and was once again taken prisoner by the enemy. Quaritch and his squad retreated and brought Spider to their headquarters. Jake's family went home and argued with Neytiri to escape immediately before Quaritch captured them, and the whole community will be in danger. Spider is interrogated at the headquarters and almost tortured by the RDA just to know where Jake is located. Quaritch stopped the interrogation, and he spoke to Spider to win his heart and make him feel good about him so that Spider would tell him all about Jake and the Na'vi. With weights on his heart, Jake and his family left Iowa, the rainforest of Pandora, to protect the clan from Quaritch. After a long journey, they reached the village of Awatlo, a Metkayina village, the Water Clans. Tanawari, known as the tough leader of the Reef People, and Ronald, a mate of Tanawari, opposed accepting Jake's family because they would be weak in the water and it might bring war to their place. Jake told them that he was done with the war and that he just wanted his family to be safe. In the end, Ronald approves of Jake's family staying with them. Tanawari ordered his community to treat the family nicely and teach them all the things they needed to know in order to survive in the water. Jake's family learned everything there was to learn from breathing underwater for long periods of time and riding the ilu, and soon they were slowly living well on the reef. Sierra, daughter of Tanawari, teaches the sons and daughters of Jake and Neytiri. However, the children of Jake and Neytiri experience oppression from the Reef People because they are half-breed Na'vi. Kiri is the most affected of them all. They call her weird because she has this kind of behavior, like having her own world. They do not know that Kiri has some kind of connection to Iowa. Lowak couldn't hold back anymore, so he hit the bully, Onung. Jake ordered Lowak to make up with the sons of Tanawari. They needed to get along so they wouldn't get kicked out on the reef. Lowak went to Onung to apologize. To prove Lowak's sincerity, Onung fooled Lowak into thinking that they would hunt his men and brought him outside the reef, and Onung left Lowak behind. Looking back, Lowak sees no one and feels danger is on his side. A large sea monster attacked him from below and tried to eat him. Luckily, Tulkun, a huge sea creature, saved his life. Lowak suddenly lost consciousness, and when he woke up, he was lying on the back of Tulkun. Lowak noticed the large metal harpoon on the Tulkun's fin, and he immediately removed it. They are swimming happily like they have made themselves new friends. When Lowak returned to the reef, Tanawari was ready to give his son a punishment for taking Lowak outside the reef, but Lowak defended Onung and told everyone that it was his fault. Onung realizes his mistakes and befriends Lowak. The next morning, Lowak told his peers about the Tulkun and learned that its name was Payokan, known as the rogue and killer Tulkun. Most of his friends didn't believe that Payokan was a good Tulkun. So Lowak ran away to meet Payokan again. Kiri, together with her sister Tuk and other friends, went to the Cove of the Ancestors, the most sacred place of the Reef People. Kiri connected herself to the spirit tree and had a vision of meeting her mother. While underwater, Kiri had a seizure and almost lost her life. Her friends took her immediately to the village. Doctors arrived right away and told Jake that Kiri had frontal lobe epilepsy, the reason why Kiri had visions, and when Kiri connected to the spirit tree, it triggered the epilepsy. Ronald arrived. She is known as Tsahik, a spiritual leader, and she made Kiri conscious again. The day passed, the Tulkuns, sea creatures that have deep connections with the Nabi, returned to the village, and they all happily swam together. On the other hand, the team of Quaritch, together with Spider, is still searching for the whereabouts of Jake Sully. Spider's trust is now set to Quaritch. Spider taught Quaritch all about being a Nabi, the way they talk, and their culture. The long patrol of the RDA picked up radar from a rogue gunship. This was the same gunship that the doctors used to go where Jake was. Quaritch made a request to the general to give him some search teams to help them locate Jake. They searched every village on the eastern sea just to get Jake's head back to the headquarters. When they first reached the village of Taanui, they forced Nabi to declare that Jake was with them. They even killed an Ilu and harmed a few of the Nabi. Spider disagreed with Quaritch's heinous actions and tried to stop them. When Quaritch realizes Jake is not in this village, he orders his team to burn the hooches before they leave. They are doing this wrongdoing in every village they land in. Tanawari got information that the Sky People were on the eastern sea and warned Jake. He also described the human boy, Spider, who can speak the Nabi language and is helping Quaritch. He ordered the other village not to say a word about Jake's whereabouts. On the ships, Quaritch had argued with the Tulkun hunter. The hunter has his quotas to meet, and Quaritch tells him to hunt in the village. The hunter disagrees because, for the Nabi, it was like hunting and killing their family, and the hostiles would come after them. In the end, the hunter agrees because they need to find a way to pull Jake out of his hideout. Lowak felt that he and Payoken were the same because both were outcasts of their clan. Payoken trusted him and wanted to show Lowak the reason for being an outcast. They both dove into the deep sea. Payoken opened his mouth and let Lowak in. Payoken chose Lowak to be his lifetime brother and made bonds with him. While inside Payoken's mouth, Lowak sees visions of the other Tulkun that are being hunted by the hunters. He sees Payoken's mother killed and the other Tulkuns. Payoken is the only one who survived this tragedy. Tanawari learned about this and fiercely called the young, especially Lowak, because they are not supposed to have bonds with an outcast. Tanawari explained that no matter what the reason why Payoken is an outcast, there is no reason enough to disobey the Tulkun way of living. Jake humbly interrupted the conversation, took Lowak from Tanawari, and scolded his son. Lowak walks out in dismay, and Surya comes after him. Surya told Lowak how proud she was of the forest boy a Tulkun chose to be its bond. Lowak states to Tsuyera what he saw in the visions about Payoken. Surya wanted to tell this to his father, but Lowak stopped her. Tanawari will never understand and believe him because he is one of the demon blood, half-blood Nabi. The RDA starts the hunting of Tulkuns. First, they mark the mother Tulkun. Then they deployed the foils, submarine teams on standby, and hunting boats. All of this was loaded with hunting weapons, especially the large hook. They unloaded the echolocation sensors that made the Tulkuns stay above the water, or they would be deaf. They also used a sound cannon and targeted the mother to cut the pods. After the sound cannon, the sub-team got ready under the water to hit the mother Tulkun with huge harpoons with large airbags to slow down the mother. Lastly, the hunter hits the mother with a huge, explosive-tipped harpoon on the Tulkun's chest. The Tulkun cried loudly before it took its last breath. Spider felt disgusted with the hunters because they were smiling while hearing the loud cry of the mother Tulkun. The hunters took the mother Tulkun on the ship and opened the mouth wide. Spider and Quaritch are wondering how the hunters make money by capturing Tulkun. The hunters explained that the Tulkun are much smarter than humans because of their brain, which has more neurons and pathways. Tulkuns are also deeply emotional and spiritual. There is a region of their brain that knows music, philosophy, mathematics, and complex languages, where they get the fluid called amrita that can stop human aging and is worth 80 million. The hunter ordered his subordinates to sink the mother Tulkun. Quaritch disagreed, and he told the hunter that he needed the body of the Tulkun afloat to tell Jake that this kind of killing wouldn't stop until Jake showed his face to them. Ronald and the others found the body of mother Tulkun. She was grieving the death of her Tulkun spirit sister, Roe, the composer of songs. Roe waited many breeding cycles just to have a calf. With so much anger in their hearts, Tanawari and Ronald declare war on the Sky People who have reached their limits in hunting Tulkuns. Jake showed the harpoon to the Water Clan to calm down and choose not to fight because they might lose everything they have and most of the Tulkun may die. Jake convinced Tanawari and Ronald to run away for the sake of the safety of their family and ordered his subordinates to warn every Tulkun about the red harpoon that may cause them to die. Lowak immediately went to Payoken to warn his spirit brother. Nadium and the other young Nabi followed Lowak. They meet Payoken, and unfortunately, he is already marked by the hunters. They immediately pulled out the harpoon, and Lowak notified his dad that there was a current situation of capturing a Tulkun. Jake and the other Nabi came to rescue the kids. After pulling out the harpoon, the young Navi did their best not to be captured by the hunters. They hid in the water plants. Lowak, Tuk, and Surya were captured, and Quaritch made them hostages for Jake to surrender himself. Jake needed to make a hard decision for his family and other Navi to be safe. He negotiated with Quaritch. But Quaritch had other plans to kill everybody after Jake went on board. Payakan saw his spirit brother, Lowak, on the ship of the enemy. Payakan didn't hesitate, and he attacked the ship. Payakan hits every soldier and hunter with its fin. That attack is the signal for the Navi to fight back. Arrow and spear versus the guns of the hunter and Quaritch team. They really do the best they can to protect each other and to stop Quaritch and the hunters. Quaritch is after Neytiri, and Jake almost hits Quaritch until he is out of bullets. The sub-teams come after Kiri and the others. Kiri used her connection with Iwa to control the plant and attack the submarine. On the ship, Spider hits the controller with a fire extinguisher to prevent the soldier from causing more trouble, and the enemy will not escape. Quaritch is eager to kill Jake. The chief hunter threw a fishing string to Payakan, expecting to capture it. But Payakan was too smart to get fooled again. Payakan used the fishing thread to pull the ship where the hunters were, destroy it, and cut the hunter's arms. Nadium rescued and untied his brother Lowak, sister Tuk, and Surya. Lowak mentioned that Spider is still on the ship and they need to get him. On the water, Kiri was captured by the blue one. Surya and Tuk came after without noticing that Quaritch was on their backs. Tuk was being tied up again, and Sierra was thrown back in the water. Lowak and Nadium rescued Spider and exchanged bullets with the enemy. They escaped into the water, but Nadium got shot. They immediately transferred Nadium to the reef and went to their father. Jake and Neytiri tried to calm Nadium but ended up losing their beloved son. Neytiri couldn't believe what happened to their son. Jake convinced Neytiri to be strong to get their daughters back. Neytiri, with a will of vengeance in her heart, stood tall and calmed herself. She picked up the arrow and flew away. Jake, with the plan in his head, went to the ship with Spider to help him navigate the ship and to know the location of his daughters. Jake implanted a bomb on the ship to serve as a signal to Neytiri to attack the enemy. Jake and Neytiri killed every enemy they encountered. They killed it with bullets, with an axe, and with arrows. Jake got Tuk, and Kiri was with Quaritch with a blade on her neck. Quaritch threatened Jake that he would cut Kiri's life if he did not surrender himself. Spider went closer, trying to stop Quaritch, and Neytiri took him hostage in return and threatened Quaritch to end Spider's life in exchange for her son's. Neytiri was ready to stab Spider with her blade, but Quaritch gave up and released their daughter. Jake told his family to go to a safe place immediately. There was an intense fight between Jake and Quaritch. While Neytiri and the kids were escaping, there was a huge fire on the sea that blocked their way, and they had no choice but to get back to the sinking ship. Tuk fell on one of the doors, and Neytiri followed her to save her. Spider and Kiri went on and are still climbing on top of the ship that hasn't sunk yet. Quaritch and Jake were struggling under the water and fighting for their lives. Jake strangled Quaritch until it lost its air, and he almost lost his breath too. Luckily, Lowak came to rescue his dad. Spider, while searching for everybody, saw Quaritch underwater. He was hesitant but still saved Quaritch since he was still the son of this bad guy. Lowak is still trying to convince his dad that they can make it above the water at the right time, and both of them will be saved. Neytiri loses hope of getting out of the ship. Kiri came, and she used her ability to control the sea creature to find and save her sister and mother. Little fish that lit under the water led the way out. Jake, with the help of Lowak, made their way out of the ship, and Payakan helped them reach the top. The family of Sully is now stuck together. Family is their own weakness and strength. Spider and Quaritch reached the shore. Quaritch tried to take Spider with him, but Spider refused. Spider knows where he belongs, and he swam back to the Sullus. All the Navi were back on the reef. On the night of Nadium's funeral, Neytiri is singing a song she used when Nadium was born. Sullus are grieving for the loss of their loved one. The energies are all borrowed, and one day we need to give them back. Nadium's body was sunk into the coral reef under the water, and Iwat embraced Nadium. The next morning, Jake said goodbye to Tanawari, and they were moving the next day. Tanawari wants Jake's family to stay in Metkayina village, and he said that they are now part of this clan. Jake and Neytiri swam to the Ancestors' Cove and formed bonds with the spirit tree. Both of them had visions of seeing Nadium again. Jake realizes that he can't save his family by running. It is their home, their fortress. This is where they make a stand to fight.